Welcome to today's news update, bringing you the latest headlines from around the world. Let's get started. President Donald Trump has suggested that the United States take control of Ukraine's nuclear power plants to protect them from potential Russian attacks. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Secretary of State Marco Rubio released a joint statement in support of the proposal, calling it the best way to safeguard Ukrainian energy infrastructure. This proposal is part of ongoing discussions to secure Ukraine's energy sector amid partial ceasefire talks. It also follows Trump's earlier push for a minerals deal with Ukraine, an agreement that was halted after President Zelensky left Washington before finalizing the deal. According to the White House, Trump has now moved beyond that proposal. President Trump has denied a New York Times report that claimed Elon Musk was set to receive a Pentagon briefing on potential U.S. military actions against China. Trump took to Truth Social to state, China will not even be mentioned or discussed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed that the meeting would focus on innovation and production efficiency rather than military conflict. However, an anonymous U.S. official confirmed that Musk will be part of a broader briefing where China-related topics may be discussed. With Musk's companies, Tesla and SpaceX, holding significant U.S. government contracts while maintaining business ties with China, concerns have been raised about conflicts of interest. The Pentagon has not confirmed details regarding any classified material in the briefing. The Trump administration has frozen approximately $175 million in federal funding for the University of Pennsylvania due to its inclusion of a transgender athlete on the women's swim team. A senior White House official justified the move by citing concerns over fairness in women's sports and locker room access. The Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Defense have both enforced the funding freeze, which may extend to other universities with similar policies. This action is separate from the Department of Education's ongoing Title IX investigation into Penn and other institutions. The NCAA has since banned transgender athletes from competing. Penn has stated that it has not yet received official notification and asserts that it remains in full compliance with NCAA and Ivy League regulations. Border crossings from Canada into the U.S. fell to 2.2 million in February 2025, down from 2.7 million the previous year. This marks the lowest level since pandemic restrictions were lifted in 2022. The decline coincides with escalating trade tensions, as President Trump has imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum. Canada has responded with $21 billion in retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. Immigration lawyer Len Saunders attributes the decline to Canadians avoiding U.S. stores amid the tariff dispute. The decrease in crossings has affected all types of travel, with truck traffic and pedestrian crossings both dropping significantly. Trump has announced additional tariffs set to take effect in April, further intensifying the situation. Chinese state media has praised President Trump's decision to cut funding for Voice of America, Radio Free Asia, and other U.S.-backed international broadcasters. The funding cuts have placed 1,300 VOA employees on leave and significantly disrupted operations at the U.S. Agency for Global Media. China's Global Times called VOA a discarded propaganda tool, while former RFA journalists have warned that the cuts will weaken U.S. influence in regions with restricted press freedom. The White House has defended the move as a cost-cutting measure, but critics argue that eliminating these outlets benefits authoritarian regimes by reducing the availability of independent news coverage. The Czech government has urged the EU to intervene in support of Radio Free Europe, and press organizations have warned of the long-term consequences for global journalism. During a rally in Colorado, Senator Bernie Sanders called out three major financial firms, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, accusing them of monopolizing the U.S. economy. Sanders argued that these firms, alongside billionaires, have too much control over the financial system and are responsible for price manipulation that is negatively impacting Americans. He further accused these corporations of being out of touch with ordinary citizens, claiming they live in what he describes as a second America. His remarks add to growing concerns over corporate influence and economic inequality. The Chinese government has criticized a recent U.S. congressional inquiry into Chinese students at 6 American universities. The inquiry, led by House Select Committee Chairman John Mouliner, requests data on Chinese nationals in advanced STEM programs, their financial sponsors, and their potential ties to Chinese military research. China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning condemned the request, accusing the U.S. of using national security concerns as a false pretext for discriminatory policies. This development follows Republican-led legislation aimed at banning Chinese nationals from obtaining U.S. student visas over espionage concerns. Chinese students currently make up about 25% of all foreign students in the U.S., and Beijing argues that their contributions benefit American economic and technological progress. Counterterrorism investigators in the UK have launched an inquiry into a massive fire at the North Hyde electrical substation, which caused widespread power outages at Heathrow Airport. The disruption led to over 1,350 flight cancellations and left thousands of travelers stranded. Officials have stated that while there is no current evidence of sabotage, the scale of the failure has raised concerns about infrastructure security. Heathrow, which has multiple backup systems, experienced a complete shutdown when both its diesel generators and battery systems failed. The airport's CEO has pledged a full review to prevent similar incidents in the future. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.